All right, so Pot of Gold Festival up in Tempe. Shmonty broadcasting semi-live. We've got the Dirty Heads with me. We've got Jared, Dustin, and David, right?
Yeah.
Look at me remembering stuff.
Good.
I wrote down all of your names because
You
I
picked
have...
out the right three.
Yeah, I have a terrible memory, though.
Yeah, so does.
It happens when you do drugs.
Sounds like a very judgmental tone over there.
We're very judgy.
When you guys play these festival shows, you know, you have over 30 bands. Are you out and about exploring? Or are you kind of just hanging back here, chilling? What's a typical festival for you?
Nora. We're the explode. That was terrible.
That was so bad.
So stupid. Yeah, we actually got in yesterday, and we came to see the festival on our day off to go watch our buddies in AWOL Nation, and then we're friends with the Air guys. I mean, doing the festival circuits and touring over the years, you become friends with a lot of the bands, so it's fun for us, you know. We come and we check out everybody, and I'm really excited for Schoolboy Q and Kendrick Lamar. Oh, and Slightly Stupid, we're going to go out on tour with them this summer, so, I mean, we're super stoked to be here.
And so are you sticking around for the rest of the weekend? Because this is the last date of the tour for you guys for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have much going on for the next month after this, but no, unfortunately, we're not sticking around.
So then here's the next question. I think the next show's in April, right? Is Tucson in the plans? Could we be seeing the Dirty Heads rolling through Tucson? You said with Slightly Stupid. Fingers crossed?
Tucson would be in the summer if we're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll put that on the books.
All right.
I'll hit up Tucson. Ask them what they think.
And now you guys, you got to work with Mario C.
Oh, yeah.
He mixed the album for you, right, back in 08?
Mhm.
What was it like working with a guy like that? Because for me, he did like 3 of my favorite Beastie Boys albums. I still think Hello Nasty is a great one. A lot of people argue with me on that, but...
That's where we were coming from, too. We were talking, and it was like, what are 3... Or not 3, but like, who is just... Let's look at all our favorite albums. And obviously the Beastie Boys were a huge influence, but there were so many albums that we loved from them that we were like, who did that? And we found out it was Mario C, and we hit him up, and one of our dreams is always to even have Beastie Boys on track, so even we could get close enough with just having Mario C, because, you know, he's really close with those dudes. We knew that he could bring a sound to the album that we wanted, that we would love, and he does shit that's timeless, you know. So he was a really cool guy. He looks exactly like he could be in the band, like he looks like one of the Beastie Boys, you know. And he was just the nicest, coolest, like sweetest guy, and he produced some of the stuff. And his outlook on music, you know, there's a lot of producers that are really technical and they're all about, you know, formula and what's working and blah blah, and he's just all more about feel and vibe, and if it you know, it doesn't matter if something's off or whatever. Like, we were getting a little frustrated, and I remember one of the cool stories was we were getting a little frustrated with things, and he had these separate tracks of Bob Marley, like a couple songs of Marley songs, and he would solo his vocal, and it would be like a little off in spots and be like, whoa, that wouldn't fly today. Somebody would melodyne it or auto-tune it or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But he would put the music back in and it would work perfect. And he's like, you know, things don't have to be perfect for them to work, you know. And just like that kind of outlook brought a lot to the table for that album.
And so when you guys are in there and recording, it's always kind of referred to as like the Beatles philosophy, where everything is really, you know, layered and produced, or the Rolling Stones philosophy, where they know what they want to record, but they really just kind of would go in a room, plug in the amps, hit record, and then jam out. What's it for the Dirty Heads when putting together an album?
It's different, really. The writing process comes about many different ways. It could be an idea Jared has, an idea I have. It could be us just in the studio listening to, like, you know, samples or beats, and it sparks something, and then sometimes we're all throwing ideas in together like that, you know, or sometimes, you know, someone comes in with most of a song and, you know, everyone just kind of throws in little touches, you know, but they really come out all different ways.
Yeah, it is. I think that with our style of band, to where we can kind of go so many places, you know, I think we've nailed our sound to where it's not super eclectic anymore, but bringing in different vibes and sounds from other genres of music. I think that it's gonna be different when you write songs. You don't have to stick to, you know, just bass guitar, drums, and this. We can put in samples. We can do a lot of different things. So it's gonna come from different places when you have so many aspects of a band. You know, like Smoke Rings was a drum beat from Maddie and a bass line from Dave, and then you know, we have other songs that Duddy came in and it's pretty much done top to finish. And then there's some that start with verses, just like Duddy said. Being in a band that's so diverse like this, it's always going to be different. There's not a set formula that we live by. We just want to make sure that everything's we're really into melody and having things being really catchy and kind of get stuck in your head. That's the stuff we like to listen to, so that's the stuff we like to write. You know, if the melody's not there, then we'll move on. You know, and then this last album, we would usually throw in like 50 ideas, no matter how small they were, how big they were, how done they were, how not done they were. With this one, it was like a lot, the quality control was really high. It was like, if you brought in an idea and there was 3 of us and 2 of us liked it, but one of us thought it was okay, we wouldn't even fuck with it. If 2 of us liked it and one of us liked it, but he wasn't like over the fucking moon about it, then we wouldn't use it. Every single person in the room, whether it was 5 people or 2 people, every single person had to be on board, like beyond this is the coolest thing we've done. So we had like nothing on the cutting room floor, you know. It didn't get past the first stage if every single person didn't like it, which that can be hard sometimes because there's so many different opinions. But with this album, it just worked. I think we had 12 songs on the album or something like that, and we wrote 13 songs, you know, so that was cool.
And now with the downtime that comes between touring and in between albums, are you the type of guys that, you know, because I would guess stereotypically with the music, with the vibe you have, that downtime is awesome for you? Or are you the type of people where you're itching to do something, be creative, write, play music, go play a show, tour, get on the road?
A little bit of both for me personally. The first like week or two, I'm done. I'm not doing anything. I don't want to listen to music. I listen to classical music in the car. It pisses my wife off. I don't want anything to do with music. I'm done. I want to play video games and sit in my house and just veg and hermit out for like that. But then after like you know, a week or 2 or something, you know, you start itching, and then say I'll be going to bed and some melody will come and I'll get up and I'll go in the other room and record it, or I'll be driving down the street and something will inspire me or a lyric will come to mind. And so I'm constantly writing verses, melodies, or anything. I just have my phone, and I mean, that's our job. And then you get bored and you're like, dude, I want to write music. So you can do it at home. You can hit up a friend at the studio. You can, you know, start thinking about the new album. But I'd say the first 2 weeks I'm over it. But I think overall, yeah, we're always constantly writing and
Too
stuff.
much time off is bad. Like we
Oh,
just
yeah.
looked at our schedule and we're like, we don't have anything for a month. Me and Dave were talking about it earlier. We're like, what are we gonna do? Like I gotta plan some stuff because I can't have just a month off. I'll just lose my mind.
Yeah. Start writing music.
Yeah, I mean, it's a balance, you know. You gotta. A couple of years ago, we were touring really, really hard, and I think some of us got burnt out. And now I think we've hit a good rhythm to where it's just, you know, we go out, we do some shows, and then we have some time off, and it's really getting into a nice little system.
Okay, now the moment has come. We have our contest winner here, our meet and greet winner, Mike. I told you before we came back here, Mike, you had to think of a question for the Dirty Heads. What will it be?
Well, it sounds really cheesy and all, but and it's usually a question you always hear at these interviews, but what is your major influence, you'd have to say, outside of like the Rolling Stones, which is pretty obvious?
Yeah. For me, I think it's another 2 that was pretty obvious. When the Dirty Heads started writing, me and Duddy would sit in his room and we'd listen to music, and 2 of the bands that we would like just play out over and over were Beastie Boys and Sublime. That was it. Like that's all we listened to. And like Sublime and Beastie Boys obviously made a big influence because they were 2 bands that weren't really doing just one genre of music. You know, the Beastie Boys had a punk album, then they had a funny reggae album, then they did songs with live band, and then they did songs with just a DJ. And then Sublime came and had the same thing. They'd go into punk and they'd go into reggae and they'd go into and they'd make it their own, and you could tell that it was them. It wasn't like super confusing. You know, they would just fuse things in and it would make sense. And that's where we went with our music when we were like in the garage and writing Antelope and I Got No Time and like our first couple songs. I think it was those 2 bands that really, you know, made us who we are.
Well, cool. Well, Pot of Gold Festival up in Tempe, Arizona. Dirty Heads hitting the road this summer with Slightly Stupid. Tucson is a possibility.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just
It's
say that.
all signs point to maybe at this point.
Anything's possible, dude.
But we've got Jared, Dustin, and David. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time just hanging with us today, and good luck with the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, it's Rock 102.